Welcome to Damsels in Dialogue, a podcast dedicated to female protagonists in fiction, film, and the stage. Co-hosted by Katie Zutter
and India Marie Paul. Here at Damsels in Dialogue, we support the LGBTQ plus community and all women because trans women are women.
For our second season, we have wands at the ready and we'll be discussing the women of the wizarding world. This episode, we dive into the twisted past of the Longbottom family and the infamous and noble House of Black. We are deep into spooky season now, and along with that, obviously us talking about the wizarding world will definitely inspire people to want to purchase things that live in that world. However, we would love to support small LGBTQ plus owned businesses like the one we have today. So we are being sponsored today by Z-Bomb Shop Creations. You can find them at Etsy. The shop is Z-Bomb Shop Creations, and also on Insta at the same @Z-Bomb Shop Creations. They make resin art. My personal favorite is their keychains. So you can get some lovely keychains based on whatever, house you're feeling of the generic wizarding school.
Yeah.
So,
I love the little, I got one of those bookmarks and they're flexible but sturdy and I'm very excited about it. I love it.
Yeah, big fan. They have other things too, but those are just my favorite. I think they look so pretty.
Yes.
But yeah, so thank you for supporting our podcast today, Z-Bomb Shop Creations. And today we have quite a few women to get through.
Yeah, it's a very entwined past between these two families, specifically with some of the sisters and the daughters in the Longbottom and the Black families. We got some nastiness between them, but we'll talk about them separately to start, and we can start with the Longbottoms. We only really have two main women of the Longbottom family in the book series, and we have Alice Longbottom and the infamous Gran Longbottom, which is Augusta. Gran. I think her name is said like once or twice, so it's always Gran to me.
It's literally just Gran. It's just Gran. Yeah. And like everybody, I love that everybody just knows her as Gran.
Yeah, it feels like the person who would want that.
When he says Gran, everyone's like, yeah, I know who that is.
It's Gran Longbottom. Yeah.
Yeah. For their relationship and how they're related to each other is Gran is mother-in-law to Alice.
Yes.
And obviously, when we meet Gran, she is raising Neville. And that is how she is introduced. You meet her first in book 1 as they're getting on the train.
That's right.
And literally she's like, oh, Neville, because he has literally lost his toad. And you can tell with how that is written that like this is like
every day,
a daily occurrence that she has to deal with. It's not even, she doesn't say it in a forced yell angry. It's just, here we go again.
Yep.
And as we get into her, you really see she is a strong and powerful witch.
Yes. And
her son is a very powerful wizard. And the woman that he marries is a very powerful witch. So, you kind of get it that she loves Neville. There is no question that she does not love him. It's just a lot of, my dear grandson Neville,
Yes, a little, honey. Bless his heart.
And not even, I love that we aren't even introduced to the idea of a squib yet. Like she doesn't even give him the opportunity to be a squid. She literally thinks that he was a muggle. Like that is the word she uses to describe him in book 1. Yeah. When Neville's talking about it, because they're all excited, talking about, when they knew they would go to Hogwarts and everything. Yeah. And like, he's from a very long line of pure blood, which is like, they're a very proud line of purebloods. And so she literally thought he was muggle. She let him almost be drowned by one family member.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
and like multiple other family members like abused him minorly. And she was like, yes, let it happen. We need to see if he's a wizard or not. And then finally, when an uncle pushes him like off a balcony or something absolutely insane where he falls from a very high depth and he bounces. And that is when they're like, it happened. And you see things like Harry at a very young age has little things that happen to him. We talked about with Petunia, things like when he's little and they're trying to like shove sweaters on him and they don't fit. Neville, this was like a recent thing that they like shoved him off this wall and he like out of like a very high window. Like it was
it's like she's gonna scare it right out of him. Like I'm gonna scare the magic right out of you.
And like lets everybody do it. And it's like she is not described as being one of the people who does things to him.
Yeah.
But, she doesn't stop it.
She's like the guardian. If she said stop, the family would stop.
Yeah, but no. Yeah, she's like the matriarch of the family. So love that for her. She does cry. She is so happy that he has magic, that she cries for him. And I get that, because when we learn later about what happened to her son and daughter-in-law, she's very proud. She desperately wants to like pass on that line and continue this legacy she's built in a very different way than the family we'll be talking about later.
Yeah, I never really thought about just like the legacy thing is really big in both of these families. Big deal for her. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're both purebloods. But the pressure is very different.
The pressure is very different. And you do feel pressure from Gran on Neville.
Oh my gosh, quite a bit. Oh my gosh, yes. He is sent. Okay. So before you see him getting a howler.
Yes.
It is mentioned in book 2 that he is the one who, when he sees it and like Ron goes white-faced, he's like, boy, you just gotta do it. You gotta get it over with. You just gotta do it. You gotta rip off the Band-Aid. Because of course, which begs to think he lived with her. Yeah. But before he got to Hogwarts, she sent him a howler. Yeah. Where was he and what did he do that he needed a howler?
Yeah. Like what?
Like was he with one of his many, many aunts and uncles? Because he has a huge family. Yeah. By the sounds of it. Like they are never named. It's always like many uncles, my aunts, my family. Like, So for him to have received a howler from her before and not at Hogwarts. What do you do?
You could just send like a regular, you could just yell at him when he gets home, but
Is Trevor number 2?
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We don't know. Yep. And she does, you can tell that she tries to help him out, like by sending him to Remember All and like trying to set him up for success as much as possible. It is really beautiful that she gives him her son's wand. It's a really beautiful thing. And
we can definitely unpack more of that because
it gets more important later. But
no, there's so much for her that you don't really think about because she is just like Gran, Neville's crazy grandmother that we talk about sometimes. But like when you really unpack her, she does have a full arc, which is very interesting to me. You meet her in book 3 in Diagon Alley, and she is like already telling off Neville. Already he's lost his book list. Like are you for real right now? He is clearly scared of her. Not as scared of her as he is of Snape.
True.
But doesn't want her to turn, doesn't want the Bogart to turn into her either.
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting that doesn't he put Snape in Gran's clothes? So like there's an interesting crossover.
That is on the suggestion by Professor Lupin. He does suggest that, which
that's right.
When you think about it, is kind of a very sweet moment for them because Lupin was in the Order of the Phoenix with Alice and Frank. Yeah. So he knew them. Yeah. And he knew Gran.
He would have known Gran. Yeah, that's really interesting.
He knew them for, maybe not a super long time, but at least a couple years while they were in that first Wizarding War. So like he knows them and he knows that. So that was a really sweet moment for him. He's looking at Neville. We can assume that he's looking at Neville not as Neville, but Frank and Alice's kid.
Yeah.
That he is helping,
that's
which
cool.
Which makes it even more sweet when you think about how he handles that. Because Snape does lead off with like, class is going to go terrible if you start with Neville. And Lupin very much is like, no, it's not. Yeah. So that's a very, very sweet moment for that and bringing up Alice into it that you can, once again, that's an assumption. But it does make it very sweet. But that is very silly when he successfully, that is a very like power move for Neville when he puts... like Snape in Gran's clothes. Yeah. And that is in the movies and in the books.
So good.
That is just an A+ moment.
Yeah,
and
it's a great look.
Neither of these characters are in the movies, so it is very nice to see at least that moment made it, because it's gosh, A+.
It was very fun, and you just it felt like, oh, it's Gran Longbottom. Like, I don't know, it's just like a thing. Every Gran, I don't know.
Yes, yeah, like in a different decade, and because witches and wizards naturally have a longer life.
Yeah.
Who knows how Gran could be, how old she is at this point in time. You know what I mean? Like, you can speculate things and go through, but there's never an actual age described. Yeah. But definitely how she dresses, who knows? She could be as old as Dumbledore. You're not really sure.
Dumbledore, she could have gone to school with Muriel. Like, we just don't know where that would have.
You don't know. Is she Minerva's age? Is she Muriel's age? We're not sure.
No. She's Gran. That's all we got.
Yeah, she's Gran. In this book, we do get, just to wrap up 3 real quick, we do get when he does receive a howler. Yeah. This is now, as we know of, the second howler Gran has sent Neville. But this one's at school, and he knows it's happening, and he takes it like a champ. He takes that and he runs out of the hall and tries to open it in the hall. He does his so hard. Of course, it doesn't work, but he does try. And that's after,
the password incident
where he loses the passwords. But she is not afraid to parent Neville.
She's not babying him at all. Like, there's no like, he's not getting away with anything.
No.
Like, you definitely feel like it's love, but that there's definitely not a bashfulness of keeping him in line the best she can.
Yes. Yeah. She definitely has high hopes and expectations for him. Yeah. But she never punishes him for his... Because she says it quite a few times in the next couple of books. She talks about how Neville is not as strong of a magic wielder as his parents. But he is never punished for that.
No, she never says that she's disappointed in him. She's still like, she has high expectations, but she's not like making him feel like he's insignificant.
No, it's always like she states it as fact. Yeah. If that makes sense. It is similar.
She really is like very blunt about his ability.
Yeah. It's like very similar to how Minerva talks about him too.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like not bashing him. It's just very blunt about that. And going off of like what you had said, India, with her like blunt parenting, if you will. They're talking about, they get to school, they're talking about how fun the tournament was, and like, oh my gosh, it's never in Britain. I can't believe it was so close. We did all this stuff, like, wowee. Yep. And Neville's like, yeah, Gran didn't want to go, so she didn't buy us tickets.
I wrote that down. Like, she just didn't want to go, so there was no going.
No thought. like just like, I don't want to go, so you're not going.
Like, maybe we should get you a ticket to go with someone. No, it's like, I don't want to go, so we're not going.
And they have money.
Oh, yeah.
Like an old wizarding family like that, like, they have money. So it just cracks me up that she just went, I don't want to go. So, and there's also the flip side of like, she would have to go with him. Like if he went, like it's she wants to go with him, potentially. Not, she doesn't want to go, but she would want to go with him to wherever they are going.
Yeah. I feel like she wants to be a part of
You want to go, so I'd have to be there now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And she's like, nah, this isn't one of them. Bye. We're not going.
Yeah. You have to imagine that she's still very protective, because she could have very easily sent him with the Weasleys, or sent him with, with another family that I'm sure that they're connected to. But it wouldn't surprise me.
One of the thousands of uncles and aunts she has.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me thinking about that, if she is a little protective of who he gets to stay with, or where he is when he's out of her sight, because she lost her son.
Yeah, I could definitely say that as an underlying, maybe not realizing it.
Oh, yeah.
Like she doesn't realize that she's keeping him a little close.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. She does go on in this book. This is where we really start to see, the next couple of books, as we get to see a little bit more of her. But she does talk about how Neville needs to uphold the family honor.
Yes.
And this is where we start to see that pressure.
Yeah, the legacy that she's trying to build. Yeah.
Right. While still helping him out. Day one, everybody's getting their stuff for school. Yeah. And he gets all the stuff you forgot. Day one. Because she knows him.
Yeah.
And is already prepped. Day one. She already is like, this is all of the shit you forgot.
Yep. Oh, wow. I don't think she ever imagined having to do that for someone.
No. Oh, my gosh. No.
She adjusted well. I think she actually adjusted quite well. But,
Yeah. It definitely, no, I think she handled it very well. And this book, we do get to hear, not from him and not from her, we do get to hear from Dumbledore, I believe, that his backstory. It is kind of a bummer
Yeah.
that we hear it from Dumbledore. I kind of wish, because it's so little that we're given here, we just hear that Gran takes Neville to visit his parents, who we learn were heavily cursed into madness, and that they don't remember Neville and everything.
Yeah.
So we learn little bits, but I wish it wasn't from Dumbledore. And not that, I don't know, I wish it was more, it would have made that more powerful later. To see that and to have Harry like have this secret. Like, I appreciate that he kept it, but for Neville's sake, I'm like, he made a choice not to tell anybody. And I do appreciate that Harry did not say anything.
Yeah, I like that he kept it even from Ron and Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish that there at least was some kind of reconciliation of Neville revealing it to Harry. Yeah. Or like there's some kind where you hear about his mom from him, because we get that his parents were really popular and liked, but it's not from him. It's not from Gran. It's from like the third party, and it feels a little less impactful.
I feel bad for Neville. But anyway, that's about Neville and not about the ladies. Something I did want to mention before we get on to book 5, which I was a little bit, I don't know if this was like the mistake.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if you had clocked this as well.
Okay.
So in book 4, it is mentioned that they're both part of the Order of the Phoenix, and Frank is an Auror. It says that she was not an Auror. But then later, it is mentioned that they are both Aurors.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Just want to like mention that. Where it's like,
in my brain, they're both
some
Aurors.
inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But it's said she was not an Auror like her husband in book 4.
Huh.
When it's, Something else to bring up, which is never mentioned again, but this is freaking devastating. This is the beginning to the little foil of like her and Lily being similar in this aspect. And there's lots of stuff with like, could it have been them? Could it have been Potters or Longbottoms? I mean, it was really who Voldemort chose in the moment. Alice was heavily cursed after they were done with Frank.
Yes, I did write that down. Like,
which is terrifying. James was just boom dead.
Yeah.
And Lily didn't even see it.
No.
Lily wasn't even there. So for her to, because Bellatrix made her watch. Like,
sure. For sure. Watched every second of that.
And like, where was Neville during this time? We don't know. We don't know if he was in the house or if they were on a mission. We don't know. So Alice watched her husband go mad before her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was her turn.
And that's enough to drive you mad without the curse.
Yeah.
So, for them to even be alive after that is impressive. Like, that is incredibly impressive.
And almost worse.
In book 5, you get moments of trying to figure out what it means when you do see her in the hospital.
Yes, that is ooh.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack of like what she's trying to do by giving him gum wrappers. Because she clearly gives him a present.
Yeah, and does it a lot. When I tell you to look up fan art about Neville and Alice, please do it. There are, have tissues ready, but it is devastatingly beautiful. Some of this fan art out there of his room wallpapered with gum wrappers. There's some of him where it's like he doesn't have them up anywhere because Gran's like, oh, just get rid of it. So there's some of him like tucking them into a box that he keeps under his bed. There's there's different artwork of like the image of her giving him the wrapper, but then like a superimposed image behind them of him, like of her hugging him and knowing him.
Yeah.
Like just look up that fan art, because that one moment, which is all we get, but it's the only moment that we meet Alice. Yeah. Is where she walks out, does not speak, gives him something and walks away. Yeah.
And that Frank one doesn't come out. It's just her.
It's just her. We do not. Yeah. It's the mothers. So that is the repetitive arc. So look, that moment has sparked so many beautiful, heart-wrenching photos. So please, do yourself a good cry.
Yeah,
and enjoy those.
Yeah,
it was devastating, and I was so upset when that wasn't in the movies.
Yeah.
Because it's such a powerful moment for so many reasons.
Yeah.
And it makes specifically Bellatrix, you fully understand how terrible she is.
Yeah.
When you know that scene exists.
Yeah.
Because without it, Helena Bonham Carter does a bomb job.
Yes.
We love that for her.
Yes.
But Like,
she's just crazy in the movies.
You don't get the full impact.
Evil. Yeah.
To see what she has done in her past.
Yeah.
Ooh, Alice. Oh, yeah. The poor thing.
Yeah. And in that scene, you really get a great look at Gran and how amazingly proud she is of what her in-law and son did. And that is extremely touching. Just how
she is so proud of them. To the point where she's, I wouldn't say, I think upset is like too strong of a word to say.
Yeah.
But she's more of like shocked when she finds out that Neville hasn't told anybody.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you're not proud of this? Look what they sacrificed for you. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, but in a look what they've done for you. They are so strong.
Yeah.
And like you said, she's so proud of them. And you can tell how much she loves Neville too. I mean, this is where she starts making those comments of like,
yeah, but like you didn't have the same as your dad's talents.
She's not as good as
man, but like,
But the first thing she does is recognize Harry, not as, hey, you're the chosen one.
Yeah.
She recognizes Harry as, oh, yes, you're Harry Potter. Neville speaks very highly of you. And then recognizes the Weasley family just because of the circles they're in and thinks they're good people. She offers her hands to every single one of them to shake their hand. She recognizes Hermione and is like, yes, you help Neville. Somebody who, me as a person, I feel that if people who are close to me, if there is someone like India, if there are people that matter to you, if I don't know them, they still matter to me. Like if they're important to you, they are important to me, and I will respect them and etc. So like that hit me hard when she spoke to them in relation to Neville and not how good they are separately. And I'm like, oh, you care for Neville. You love him.
Well, that he told it. Like she says, he told me all about you. So he might be like writing her letters all the time. Like that's really cute. That's really cute to think that she like gets updates from him about school, or that they are in communication a lot. Like that's really
Can you
sweet.
imagine him? Because he also like goes home all the time. It's rarely mentioned that he's not
for the holidays.
Like that he stays at. Yeah, right. He usually goes home for the holidays. So can you imagine her coming home, or like him coming home to her, and like, you know they have a house elf. Like
yeah.
Like,
here's a big snake, and Harry Potter went into the thing, and Jenny.
Tell me all about it, Neville. And just like enjoying his stories and how proud, because he's excited about how his friends are, and you see that later. He has a very Luna aspect to him in his love for his friends, and I love just thinking about her enjoying listening about them through Neville, which is really, really cool. I love that she knows Hermione's name. I love all of that.
It's really sweet to think about Neville getting to come back to her and tell her that he won the house cup for them with 5 points. That
oh my gosh.
Really sweet.
Yeah, that moment makes me cry. So I imagine her being very excited for that moment.
Yeah. Like I want that scene of him just like getting to tell her that he got 5 points for Gryffindor and they won. That's really sweet.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's more of her later, but before we keep going, I did want to mention, I know we talked about this already, but she says matter of factly, and this is kind of how she says everything, like we mentioned, how she states that Neville isn't as good at magic.
Yes.
I love how proud that she says, and I wrote it down as a quote because I loved it so much. My son and his wife were tortured to insanity by who's followers. She states that she does not sugarcoat anything.
Nope.
She just states it to them in the hospital as they're leaving as a fact. And that's not something that many people would be proud of and say like that with back straight, looking right into your eyes.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about her character.
It does. It's like there's no shame in it. There's no shame of the scars you get from doing good.
Right.
It's really beautiful. It's just a really cool personality trait to have because it's a hard thing to talk about. And she doesn't have any trouble talking about it.
No. She has fully understood the situation. The way she talks about, oh, Alice dear. Like, what do you have there? Okay, give it to Neville. Take it and throw it out. Like it's very much.
I feel like they do this a lot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And not in a bad way going through the motions, but this is like her duty. She's doing this and she does love them. She does care for them and she's proud. And I don't know. I do love that. It helps soften the blow of what happens to Frank and Alice, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit of how much she justifies and is proud of them. Not that they did anything wrong. They're amazing, strong humans.
Yeah.
But it makes it like, it warms your heart a little bit.
It does. It makes it feel like less of a tragedy. It is a tragedy, but it makes it feel more like a heroic story rather than just a tragedy, which is a small distinction, but I think a very important one.
Speaking of small distinctions and important ones, something that you had brought up that I wanted to take a moment to unpack a little bit before we get into the ending moments of Gran, because as we go on, Alice, we meet her in this book, and then she is not. Yeah,
we don't see her again.
We don't see her again, which is understandable. They live in St. Mungo's.
Yes.
We find out in this book, as Indy had mentioned, that the wand that breaks in the Department of Mysteries was actually his father's. And he says that, oh, Gran will be upset that I broke this. And he kicks it away. To talk about Gran in this moment, they're all from old money. So you know the Longbottoms have money. And so that was a definite choice that Gran made to take her son's wand, who has no use for it, and to give it to Neville. I think she had high hopes and expectations for him. And the moment that she decides to give to him, that would be so beautiful to see, of like her in tears, so happy that he's bounced his way to safety. And is like, oh my goodness, I can give him this piece of my son.
That you can connect with magic that he's used. You can connect with something that connected to him. It's really beautiful. And it's tragic when it breaks, but it also is kind of a huge turning point for Neville.
Yeah.
When he gets to get a new one.
He gets one that chooses him. And not that this one did him dirty.
No,
but it's just not the same. Yeah. And he does his magic does get better after that.
Yeah. It's really like in the beginning of book 6, you get Gran in the Daily Prophet just like talking about how proud she is. It's so sweet.
And I love that she once again is not being like, yes. He knows Harry Potter, the chosen one who's like, no. She's like, he is a good friend of Harry's, and he fought Death Eaters alongside Harry. Which is true. She did not lie.
No, but so proud.
She's proud of him.
Yeah.
And what he did, not that he knows Harry.
Yeah. Book 6, the transition with Gran and Neville, it becomes less of expectations, and now he is the one she gets to be proud of for his actions, not what he could do.
Yes. And I love this moment. There is a beautiful thing that, speaking of exactly what you just said, jumping off of that, is McGonagall makes a comment. Because you have this moment of he's like super, super bummed. He really wanted to take her transfiguration because Gran wanted him to. And Minerva makes a comment of like, but your charms, OWL, is amazing. Like, why don't you continue that? And he's like, oh, Gran thinks it's soft. Something that Minerva says is it's time that she is proud of the son or the grandson that she has and not the one that she wants. Or something along those lines. And that is so powerful of Minerva to say, and is exactly the journey that Gran goes on from this point forward.
Yes. And in that moment, threatens to write a letter to Gran and remind her that just because she wasn't good at charms doesn't mean it's not worthwhile.
Yes, like, she failed her owls. Just because she did not pass does not mean that it's soft.
Yeah, which also says something about Gran and how she treats failure. That's, I think, really funny.
Yes.
And you get the, like, at some point, either she, like, went to school with Gran, knew Gran enough to know that she didn't pass her out.
Right.
So, like, I don't know if they were in some kind of close relationship, but it's funny that she knows that.
It just cracks me up.
That was great. I love that moment. Yep.
Oh, goodness. They're so funny. Neville does, as much as it is mentioned that they must talk, they both kind of come together into the 7th book and everything, because even up into the 6th book, Neville makes a comment where he's like, I think Gran would do anything to have you as a grandson, Harry.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
No.
But he doesn't realize that.
No, he doesn't know it yet.
he doesn't know it yet. And much like Minerva says, I don't think she realizes, she is very proud of Neville, but I don't think she understands the full capacity of how proud she is of him and how much she believes that he can carry on this strong family lineage, you know, until that 7th book. And the two big moments you see her, which in book 7, which I love, the one of her, it's just, I love how Neville describes it, where you like, he knows his grandma, but just how they went, the Death Eaters were like, you know what, they're trying to get to the Silver Trio after the chaos that they caused at Hogwarts during that 7th book, and they had taken Luna. Ginny they couldn't do with because she didn't come back. Which does say a lot that Neville stayed. And that Gran was like, yeah, you're staying. That's fine. Oh, yeah.
Gran was totally like, no, you're staying.
Yeah, you're good. But when they went to go get her, they're like, yeah, I think they bit off more than they could chew. Yeah. She's not just a little old lady in the house. She sent one of the Death Eaters to Mungos.
Yep,
like,
and escaped. Completely sent him to Mungos and escaped. Like, on the run. So Gran is on the run and survives on the run.
Yes. Oh, my gosh, yeah. As an old lady by herself. Get out here. Get out here. Like, what? And when you think about that, there's a lot to say there. Yeah. Because the Potters, for example, are under heavy protection. They're in the house. They're taking care of the kid. They're not going anywhere. They're in hiding.
Yep.
And James didn't even have his wand on him when they. And now this could be that they're young.
Yeah, that's
in comparison to Gran. Maybe Gran is just always ready for a coup.
Yeah, maybe she's just ready. Maybe she's just like wand in the boob, like pull out, ready to go.
It's a lot for her to be so ready to put one in the hospital.
Yeah.
There's very few moments where you see people like, and Madame Pomfrey is not the only one who is a outside medic. Not canon, but it seems to be readily available that there are these kinds of nurses who would be in the Ministry of Magic and things like that, like on-site nurses.
Yeah.
So for her to immediately put this guy in Mungos,
like for him to be at St. Mungo's is huge. I want to know what she did. We never find out what she did.
No, we never find out what he
We never find out where she went. Yeah, she does.
He does survive.
Yeah,
he does survive. But I mean, it's been months.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And Gran survives being on the run, which is impressive in itself. In this, because now everyone's looking for her. Like it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They send like the lower level Death Eaters like on that hunt, but you'd still have people chasing you.
Still,
yeah.
Like what? And I think one of the most powerful moments for Neville has like 2 very powerful moments in this book, and one of them is when he gets Nagini. But the first one before that, which is a very powerful moment for Gran, and where you see Gran coming full circle, is her coming through the portrait hole.
Yes.
How she even figured that out is like beyond me.
Who told her? Where was she? Like, no,
where did she come from?
Yep.
Oh, who knows?
Yep.
But her coming through the portrait hole and immediately being so proud, I have to get out there because my grandson is out there.
Yeah. She's so ready. You just get to feel like she is just so ready for this. It's all she's ever wanted. And then she gets to go battle alongside Neville and
I love that she like comes late and like chats with the girls. She has like a girl chat about like, have you seen Neville?
Have you seen him? Yeah.
That's my grandson. Oh, Harry, we can go. Great.
I gotta go. Okay, I'll go join the battle. Like
what?
She's so good. She's so good.
I love that she had that moment with him, and now he doesn't get to see that, but that is a very important moment that you can pretty much believe that they had a talk after and that he knows this, because if she is that proud that she is telling the first 2 people she sees in the room she gets to, like she's telling everybody. So I love that for Neville. I love that for her, and I love that for their relationship.
I just have a great image of her in the middle of fighting going like, that's my grandson. Like,
but not in the way that Molly Weasley says it, but in like a very proud way of like where he's with all of the potted plants that he's like throwing off with Professor Sprout. Like, yes, Neville, get it, curse that guy.
I really feel like she's probably cheerleading him during the entire battle.
Yes.
That's all I want. And it's now canon in my head that that's what happens.
With the vulture hat.
Yes, with the vulture hat.
Yes.
That's amazing. Oh, Gran.
We love her.
Yep.
I really enjoyed. I'm really glad that we deep dived into her. Because that was a fun moment that I missed in my many rereads. Because it's more of just, like I said, she's kind of like brushed aside. So when you kind of dig into her, you're like, yeah. Get it, girl. Get
what
it.
a mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like Alice had her as a mother-in-law for a while.
A fierce mother-in-law.
Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Now, going from one very proud and prideful family to another very different proud and prideful family.
Very dark.
Yeah. So we are heading now into the most noble and ancient house of Black.
Oh, pretentious out the wazoo.
They are so pretentious. Yeah. To give a little bit of background, they are your classic pretentious family.
Yes.
If you go back in their family line, which this is also the only family that you get. This is one of the only families where you get an official
like tree.
Family tree. I mean, it's wallpaper.
Yeah. That you can't take off.
It's a tapestry,
Yeah.
So you do get to fully see the whole family, which is very interesting. And you go back and you see they reuse names constantly.
Yeah.
And this is not unfamiliar in the wizarding world. You see the Blacks use it where they reuse their first names a lot. And you also see the Malfoys do that. It's lots of that. You do see them that Miss Black, Matriarch Black, did burn away people that she did not like who had left the family at some point or another, including Sirius.
Yes.
So we meet her a little bit. So I just wanted to give a little backstory on how pretentious they are. They are very pureblood. They're very pro pureblood and have always been. They are almost exclusively housed in Slytherin. But regardless of if they are in Slytherin, there are examples of them not all being bad, which is why some of them are blasted off the map.
Yes.
But continuing with Mrs. Black.
Mrs. Black and the portrait that cannot be unstuck from the wall.
Yes.
Which,
the
what
permanent
a death,
sticking
like,
charm.
Like, that's amazing that she did that. To look over and judge. Like, she just screams about there being, like, non-purebloods in the house. Like, just constantly screams anytime someone makes a noise in the hall. What a power
and
move.
you know how bad she was? That creature, okay.
Yeah.
This will be a very, very, very short side tangent. But Harry is sassy. When I tell you, I choked listening, like reading some of Creature's comments. Oh, yes, I live to serve Master Sirius, but my blood's in the house and I hated Mrs. Black. Well, I hated my master. Like, the stuff he said. Yeah. Like, this is what he grew up with, this woman. And that is what he's like.
Yeah.
And that's a taste of what she was like. Is this portrait and what she has left, which is Creature, who was around her whole life. What a lovely woman.
Yes.
To raise 3 daughters.
Ooh, 3 daughters, blasted one of them off the family tapestry.
Yeah. And Andromeda, just for a quick thing on her, the middle child, she
the middle child.
and she is sorted into Slytherin, she's very skilled at magic. Tonks mentions it. She did start dating Ted Tonks, who was I'm not sure if I think he may have been a half-blood or like a muggle born.
Yeah,
something like
I think he's a muggle of some kind.
Yeah, a Hufflepuff. She goes off and leaves the family and marries this man and severs ties with the family and has a daughter. She does keep the daughter's name within that constellation family line.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't hear a lot about her. She is just blasted off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to think that a child in between such polarizing people as Bellatrix, Narcissa, and their mother, that love overpowered that.
Yeah, that she could even be allowed to have her own thought of what she wants to do is pretty impressive.
You do meet her.
Yeah.
At the very last book, you do meet her and Ted, and she does show her strength at her healing powers. She is very good at that. You can tell. You can tell she's a strong. They're all. I mean, the Blacks are strong magic users. They have it very strong with them.
And she puts herself directly in the path of her sisters and the wrath of Voldemort.
And lets her daughter.
Bellatrix. Yeah.
Lets her daughter be in that too.
Yeah.
Knows that she can hold her own, and she then goes on to raise Ted.
Yeah. Baby Ted.
Raise their kid.
Yeah.
Yes. Ted number 2.
Baby kid.
So yeah, by herself, mind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's strong. We don't get her a bunch, but it has created a huge, there's tons and tons of fan created films on YouTube, fan art, and fanfic about the sisters.
Yeah.
And speaking of
yes.
sisters,
yes,
I would love to go with our oldest and most crazy.
Yeah, got a little bit of the crazy eyes.
How's Miss Miam?
Yes.
Something I thought was very cool about her is that she is very intentionally not named when you meet her.
Yes, I wrote down and I'm like, oh, I know who this is, so I can take notes on her, but you don't learn.
No, you see her in a flashback in book 4, and I love how she's described. You know her already. You don't even know her name. You don't know how she's related to anybody.
Yeah.
But the way that she sits on that chained chair like a throne and tells them, send me to Azkaban. It will only be better for me.
Yeah.
If you do that. He will only think more highly of me when he frees us.
Yeah. Oof.
What a power move!
Yeah,
Like, can you imagine?
She's not afraid of anyone else
but
the Dark Lord. Like,
absolutely not. She's afraid of no one but him.
Yeah. Like, it's insane. Like, that trial is just absolutely insane. And how angry she ends up being at everyone who didn't go to Azkaban is fascinating. She's so mad. Like, you are
not as devout as me.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you didn't get tortured by Dementors for him.
Yeah.
Like, it's
very, ma'am, are you in a cult?
You think? Y'all got marks, like you're at, the language used whenever she's around Voldemort is so disturbing to read, and it's so dark. The kneeling and like kissing his feet and like the begging and
and she does it the most.
Yeah,
everybody does it to an extent, but she is the extreme.
Yeah,
she has drunk the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, completely. And she's married. Yeah. Like, she's married. We don't really learn much about him other than they are married.
He does go back to Azkaban.
Yes.
At the end of everything. And then when you physically get to meet her in real life.
Yes.
This is so scary. Now, something that was a little different in the movies, now that these characters are in the movies, so we can kind of play with that a little bit. I get it, it's a short amount of time, and they cut out some things that related to her backstory. But there are some different things that I really wanted to get into, in especially this particular movie. And something that is right on cue and that they are the same person is this. She is loyal immediately and mocking Harry in that baby voice. She loves to toy with people. And I think Helena Bonham Carter does a phenomenal job playing with that.
Yeah.
She
thinks the ministry atrium.
Yes.
Book 5. Yeah.
They're in the Department of Mysteries.
Yes. Yeah. That's when she's in the ministry. Yep.
Mocking him right away. Like, she doesn't even give a thought. Yeah. She thinks it's funny that Harry starts giving instructions as, look at instructing the children.
Baby, like,
which is very interesting when you think about when she started following Voldemort.
Yeah.
Voldemort was not this scaly lizard man.
Yeah. He was a person.
He was a very young, handsome person.
Yeah.
Like, he started the Death Eaters when he was Harry's age at this point in the book. He was his 5th, 6th year, and he started creating the Death Eaters. It's been so long that she doesn't remember that he started this as a child too.
Yeah.
But she thinks it's funny. It's just, And then I love this line. I think she delivers it so well. And in the books that he knows how to play.
Yeah.
Is so,
it's all a game.
So it's
death
all a game.
And death and evil and curses and like it's all a game to her.
Yeah. Oh, let's go torture the young one, and grabs Ginny.
Yeah.
Like, what if we kill her or not kill her? Let's torture her, are her words.
Yeah.
She's playing verbally, and the only time when that stops, which by the way, she's ignoring Lucius the whole time, even though Lucius is like the head of this.
Yeah, he's like trying to keep her under control.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. Come on. You know her.
Yeah.
That is your sister-in-law. You know her. Why did you, why? She should have been the leader because she's nuts and she will do whatever she wants. And she does. The point that she goes from verbally assaulting them to physically assaulting them is the moment that Harry says Lord Voldemort and slings insults at him. And that is where, you dare speak his name, shut your mouth.
Yeah. That's no fun anymore. There's no,
no.
And for her to immediately
curse Neville with Crucio.
Oof.
The moment she realized who he is.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Yeah.
That was obvious.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
Like, Longbottoms.
Like, she knows she made his parents go crazy, and this is just,
Just makes your skin
yeah.
crawl.
Yeah.
And that's when she goes for the kids when in defense of Voldemort. And poor Lucius. This is the one moment in the entire series where I felt bad for him.
Yeah, for a moment you're like, ooh.
For like one moment I'm like, sir, your choices were made and they were not the right ones.
Yeah. Yep.
You think you can control her? Good luck. Good luck. Like.
Yep.
So now something that I wanted to talk to you about. That is a big difference between the movie and the books.
Yeah.
Now, in the movies, because right after this, the fight begins, and they're traveling, and they get separated for a bit. They come back. All that happens. Bellatrix. I mean, she is a baddie.
Yeah.
A baddie. She duels. She takes down Tonks. She takes down Kingsley. She takes down Sirius. She literally one after the other.
Yeah.
And is just going for it. Something that I find very interesting that is not in the movies, that's in the books, is it is very clear what spells people are using.
Yeah.
Because they have colors associated with them. You have red used for stunning and any of those kind of offensive spells. And you have green that is that famous...
The killing curse.
Of Avada
Kedavra. Yeah. It's my favorite. I love that.
So she does not hit anyone. And she does not use the killing curse. Yeah. She actually does not hit Sirius with a killing curse. She hits him with a stun. Yeah. And then he collapses through the veil, and that's what kills him. She also does not comment on it, ever.
Yeah.
She never comments on killing Sirius. And I think there's two things about that you can kind of unpack from that. And one of them is she much prefers the torture.
For sure.
Because her knocking out Tonks.
Yeah, like why wouldn't she kill Tonks? Like it's a traitor.
No, this is fun.
Yeah.
Tonks gets to wake up.
Yeah, I'll do it
and
again.
know that she was taken down by her aunt.
Yeah.
And Tonks had to go to Mungo's.
Yeah, it was
after
bad.
This is how bad that she got her. Kingsley, she knows that Kingsley, everybody knows. He's in all of the media.
Yeah.
He's protecting the Muggle Prime Minister.
Yeah. This is like,
so he's going to wake up.
Enemies of Voldemort.
Right. And he's going to wake up the next day and know that Bellatrix can take him.
Yeah.
And could have taken him.
Yeah.
And chose not to kill him. Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing. And I love it. Like, we can continue to unpack. I just want to say the two things before we like dive into that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is she did not intend to kill Sirius and never brings it up again in the books. Whereas in the movies, she's proud of it. She's very proud of it. And I get it because once again, they need to like build that kind of craziness that you get in the books that you don't get in the movie.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that. I think it worked for her. And I think the actress crushed it. But she did not intend to kill him. And many times, like Snape brings it up later. Yeah. And she deflects when they bring up Sirius's death.
Yeah.
You know, so it's so interesting.
It's really interesting.
What else do you think?
I definitely think the torture, I think she much rather tortures than kills people, I think for sure. I think that's part of why she doesn't just go around killing everyone like she probably should have if she doesn't want the Order of the Phoenix to be an issue in the future.
Right. Like she could have easily taken out like a third of them right there.
Yeah, like maybe you should think about how you handle yourself a little bit more. They do mention a couple times how much like they're not killing or hurting or maiming Neville at the school because he's a pureblood. So there might be a respect for some purebloods where they don't want to kill them because it's a potential person.
Yes, because there's not many of them and they need to keep what's left around.
So it feels like they go easy on purebloods purely for keeping them around in a gross way.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that might be partially why she wouldn't want to kill Sirius, but I feel like she grew up with a cousin. Like, he knew that house. It's not like they were distant cousins. It is interesting that there might still be a clinging to that, because she also, we find out her relationship with Narcissa is really interesting, too, when she disagrees with what Narcissa wants to do in the next book.
Yeah.
So
and she knows Regulus, who was a Death Eater with them.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that they choose to make her kill him in the movies. And I do get it. I do think you have to make her crazy very fast.
Yeah.
In the movies. It is fun to note that she didn't mean to kill him.
Yeah. Not upset by it. Like she doesn't, she's not like teary-eyed or crying.
No.
She just,
It's
anytime
quiet.
it's brought up, she moves on.
Yeah. She's not going
to, a statement. And it's not like how she spoke later when you hear in a meeting and she's groveling and saying, oh my gosh, there is no greater honor than to work for you, to be in service to you, to like, yes, I would love to kill Tonks.
Yeah, like that's when she tries to kill Tonks and when she actually gets the chance the next time.
He had to tell her because and that's what's scary. He had to tell her to kill Tonks because she would prefer to torture them. Yeah. Which is
it's own kind of crazy. It's an own kind of creepy, evil. She had to have some kind of crazy to be in a Death Eater, but before Azkaban, and then Azkaban probably like heightened it. Maybe Azkaban didn't do anything. Maybe she was just that. I don't know.
No, like, and you could see from that moment where where Harry is so upset and he tries to crucio her.
Yeah,
and she gets hit, drops, and laughs.
Oh yeah, that is terrifying. You can feel your skin crawl watching the scene play out of her laughing and saying, oh, you need to mean it. Yeah.
Do you need a lesson? And does it right back. What? And that I think is another reason why she's such a powerful witch is that she does not half things.
Yeah. Yeah.
She puts her entire soul into what she's doing. You see that with how she handles Voldemort. You see her with how she attacks people and kills them. Like she did not need to torture the Longbottoms to insanity, but she's doing it. There is a power in having that much force behind your intentions.
Yeah. Not only is she fully feels and does whatever she does, but she has no fear of death. So like that recklessness paired with complete and utter like power towards
she's
her
more scared of disappointing Voldemort. Because like even at the end of book 5 when things are going down and he like takes her away, she is terrified of what he's going to do to her because she knows she messed up. You do see later that he tortures her for letting them get away at Malfoy Manor and everything in later books. She's scared of him, but I think you're right. I don't think it's even scared that he will kill her.
Yeah.
I think it's scared of disappointing him.
Yeah.
Which is almost more gross.
Oh, it's so gross. Scared of being taken away from him, that he doesn't want her anymore. Like that
she desperately wants to be
needed by him and everything to him. And blah, blah, blah. So gross. So gross. Which is why it's really interesting in book 6 where we get a side of her where she's calling Narcissa Sissy and people call her Bella. I was like not prepared for that when I first read it, like book 6.
Because they're sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the sister atmosphere because they're not together up until this point. This is the first time you see them interacting together.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
It's very interesting.
I mean, Bellatrix is a force. Yeah. When you see her in book 6, she is mentioned first and she immediately kills a fox because maybe it's an Auror.
Yeah.
But there's still a sense of she still respects Narcissa, which is interesting to me as her being the older sister and clearly the most powerful.
Yeah.
She listens to Narcissa. She spends that entire chapter running after her being like, what are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah, don't do this. But doesn't stop her. Doesn't
I don't
stun
trust
her.
him.
It's very
She tries.
Hurt. Yeah, she's very hurt.
Yeah, she doesn't use her magic on her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Narcissa spells her and she is super upset by that, but still goes in there with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's like a protective aspect to her of like, okay, if you're going to do this with Snape, who I don't trust, then I'm going to be here too to make sure he doesn't like mess with you.
Doesn't tell on her to Voldemort.
No, like, she's good at occlumency, which we do learn later because she taught Draco.
Yeah.
She doesn't tell Voldemort about it, but Voldemort knew Draco couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He literally tells Snape as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, truly didn't care what happens to that. And what's interesting about their relationship that I thought was really cool reading it, because it happens very different in the movies. Bellatrix comes in guns blazing.
Yeah.
She comes in and is like immediately like, I don't trust you, Snape. And Snape's like, oh my gosh, this girl.
Yeah.
Then
don't tell me.
Rants. She rants for a super long time and Narcissa just sits there and listens.
Yep.
She just like pulls herself together, lets it happen, chimes in the defense of Lucius real quick.
Yeah. It doesn't let her talk bad about Lucius.
No. Because that was entirely her fault. And Narcissa knows that.
Yeah.
It's Bellatrix's fault that Lucius is in Azkaban right now.
Yeah.
But their relationship of her waiting for Bella to get it all out.
Yeah.
Before she's like, okay, now it's my turn.
My turn. Yep.
Then for Bellatrix to see Narcissa in the movies, she does do a great job. It's not as dramatic as it is in the books.
Mm-hmm.
In the books, she's literally on her knees, tear-stained, begging Snape to save Draco's life. That is how much. The stakes are so high. She loves Draco so much.
Yeah.
She will do anything.
Yeah.
And in this moment, Bellatrix kind of watches that happen.
Yeah, she doesn't try to stop her from revealing anything when she sees Narcissa in full sobs saying, my only son.
Right. She has the moments of like, don't tell him.
Yeah.
But then Snape's like, I already know. And she's like, excuse you? Because, of course, Bella's like, I'm number one Death Eater. What do you mean?
Yes.
You can't
there's
know.
like a little bit of like,
number one.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's some jealousy going back and forth of who's Voldemort's favorite.
I went to Azkaban.
Yeah.
You didn't. Like, literally, she brings up her stay in Azkaban. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. There's some pettiness going on in this moment.
Yeah. But she's Superman. Yeah, Superman that he knows the deal. But once, and she does bring up this, she's like, well, Draco seems really proud to do it. He should be.
Yeah, he seems
proud. Eager to do it.
Yeah.
But once Narcissa is on the ground, sobbing, begging Snape to do something about it, Bella lets it happen. And something that I do prefer in the books, I like how they did it in the movie, and I understand why they did it in the movie. In the movie, Bellatrix brings up the unbreakable vow. Seems very in character. I didn't mind that. And it's very cool. And she's super excited. And you see her eyes darting from the 2 to 2 and be like, what's happening? Yes, ha.
Yeah.
Like, I've got him now. Ha.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is cool. But in the books, she is surprised.
Yeah, she's shocked.
And we don't see this in her literally ever.
Yeah.
There's no moments there's her being upset. There's her being concerned over Sissy. But there is not a moment of shock where Snape literally needs to tell her to take out her wand because she's not ready.
She's like
do the bond. Like, let's get it.
You see her completely in shock, and that Narcissa demands it. And she demands it's really powerful because Narcissa demanded it. And that's, I am sad that she didn't get to do that in the movie because it just shows how serious.
Yeah.
And seeing Bella shocked by it just shows how serious the unbreakable vow is.
Yes.
Seeing
it makes
her
it
shocked
very powerful.
Yeah. And Bellatrix does not, in the books, correct me if I'm wrong, because I had a question mark on this.
Yeah.
She doesn't get to go to the battle at the end of book 6. Where Dumbledore is killed.
No, she is not there because she is being punished.
That's interesting to me. that she doesn't get to be a part of this. That last time she was a part of it, it fell apart. So
she does come back later to prove her worth. You see her at the beginning of book 7, where I mentioned earlier that there's no higher pleasure, and she really went hard for them, as Tonks describes.
Yes,
and you see her at the battle as well, going for everybody. Something that I did not like in the movies at all. I do not understand this choice. I did not like it.
Yep.
You do have that lovely moment of not my daughter, and Bellatrix is almost always described as fighting multiple people at once because of course you have to. She's just that strong.
Yeah.
But her death, I do not like in the movies because the whole point is that Bellatrix is strong. She is probably one of the strongest witches in the series that we see battle-wise. And the whole point is that Molly Weasley kills her and she is a regular person. She is a body that hits the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, the smoke with the Death
when she disappears
doesn't make any sense.
Because it just happens to those two.
Yeah.
They both disintegrate. And I don't like that because the whole point is Voldy's trying to escape death.
Yeah.
And even he, in the end, is just a body on the ground.
Yeah.
And I did not like how they did it with Bellatrix because I think it's more satisfying.
Yeah.
When you see her collapse and there she is, and there's proof that she is not there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you get a little bit of her as she's trying to kill Tonks. You get her with the sword torturing Hermione, terrified about the vault break-in. Losing her wand. Yeah,
that's where she gets tortured, like we had mentioned before, after the incident at Malfoy Manor. Something fun about this moment, a couple of things happened when they filmed that moment in Malfoy Manor where they were torturing her. The director told Helena Bonham Carter to let loose and do whatever she wanted. Emma Watson heard that and started scared because obviously when Helena Bonham Carter is told, be as crazy as you can, like that that statement in and of itself is scary. She screamed so loud and so much that the three boys who play Harry, Ron, and Draco thought that she was being physically injured. And
Emma Watson did?
Emma Watson, yes. And after that, she could not be in the same room as Helena Bonham Carter. And Helena Bonham Carter felt terrible.
Yeah.
Like filming that scene after that, they had to like take time.
Yeah.
Because it was so raw for everybody involved. I mean, obviously, Helena Bonham Carter is very human. And that is the appropriate reaction to doing that.
It
makes are you okay?
Feel better about them doing that moment. If both parties were like, you know what?
But everybody was like, what?
Let's take a moment.
Yeah. So to be in that headspace of how absolutely insane Bellatrix is a crazy time, guys.
Yeah.
It is a crazy time.
And it's absolutely terrifying as a scene.
Yeah. All in all, I think the Black Sisters overall were cast really, really well.
Yeah.
Let's get to
Narcissa.
I know we talked about her quite a bit already, and there's a little bit outside of those moments, but we do hear about her in book 1 because she's sending Malfoy sweets.
Yes.
We first see her in book 4 where she's at the Quidditch tournament. And I love that she's described as blonde, tall, slim, and like nice looking, like she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But has this like sour expression.
Yeah. Like she's pretty, but like it was like an upturned nose. Yes. Yeah.
We also find out there that she didn't want Draco to go to Durmstrang and debated with Lucius about it and she won the debate.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
We love a strong woman, and she wanted him close to her.
Yeah.
Which is why she continues to send Draco sweets.
So many sweets, like cakes and sweets, but I'm like, man, she loves that kid so much.
He is her whole life. Like she will do anything for him, which you do see. She is mentioned in book 5 when Creature finagles the rules just enough to be able to go there and speak with Narcissa, or Sissy, as he also calls her, to finagle all those ways to lure Harry into the ministry.
Yeah.
Narcissa is very interesting to me because she is very much for herself. I think she is a excellent example of a Slytherin. Yeah. Because she is not a Death Eater.
No.
She was never a Death Eater. Yeah. She is in it for herself and those she loves. And yes, she will do all the things to be successful. She knows Lucius has this meeting. She will tell Creature everything to give him that advantage. Yeah. But the instant things go sour, she is one of the only people to successfully lie. Yeah. Lie to the Dark Lord.
Yeah. Well, you never see
to his
her.
face.
Yeah. The fact that she's not a Death Eater is fascinating.
She's there the whole time. Yes. Because the Death Eaters were a lot. Not everybody had the Dark Mark. Yeah. They had it was just the important ones that were at those meetings. Yeah. And she was one of them who was there the whole time. Yeah. But never officially a Death Eater. Yeah. Which, how'd she finagle that, man?
How is she not pressured into how is that allowed? Like it's fascinating to me that she is protected enough to not have to be one.
Right. And maybe like Voldemort didn't even consider it because he already had Lucius, had control over Draco, and has control over Bella.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Ooh, she doesn't go on any of the missions because she's not a Death Eater. Yeah. She doesn't do any of that. I know we talked about this devastating scene for her going to get Draco, because that moment when Lucius is put into Azkaban, that is the moment where she is like, this is not the game we're playing right now.
Yeah.
This is threatening my son.
Azkaban, her son is now given a death sentence. Because she knows, she's
absolutely
like, she knows this is a punishment. This is not, like, Voldemort does not expect him to succeed. And I wrote down the quote, "There is nothing I wouldn't do anymore."
Yes.
And I was like,
yes, I did too.
That's so good.
She's, And when she meets the boys in Madame Malkin's and is like, if you curse him, like, that is the last thing you will do. And she does not balk like her sister does. Her sister takes the bait left and right. Yeah. Narcissa is used to this nonsense. Yeah. She deals with this all the time. Yep. From literally Lord Voldemort. Yeah. So she just takes it, gives it right back tenfold, and walks away.
We've never seen her fight anyone in the entire series, but as soon as they threaten her in the shop, she's like,
"Want me to?
Yeah,
well,
bring it.
That'll be the last thing you do. I'll literally kill you for him. Thank you, goodbye."
It's amazing. It's such her power is so subtle and it's very impressive, and it's so opposite of what Bellatrix's is. Bellatrix is everywhere in your face, and she is just calm and quiet. And it's terrifying.
Yeah. I also love that she's as tall as Harry.
Yeah, she's a very tall woman. I love that
she looks right into his eyes.
Yeah, she doesn't bulk. She is like, I'm scared of you. Like it's,
yeah. Dumbledore won't always be there to save you.
Yeah,
she says, knowing that Dumbledore will be dead by the end of the year.
Yeah. Oof. I love that she also gets super protective of Draco, as far as like he has to like slither out of her view to get away from her.
He literally does not tell her about any of his plans because he knows how protective she is of him.
Helicoptering him right now because terrified. She's got to be absolutely terrified.
Right. Oh my gosh, yeah. This may be the last time, which I'm sure is why she took him and went with him to Madame Malkin's. She wants to protect him, and also these are potentially the last moments she has with him.
Yeah.
And gosh, she's so strong. The fact that she, and I know we mentioned this, how she's straight back, she takes it from Voldemort and everything. But her putting her hand onto Lucius and not even looking at him, and that's what gets him to relinquish his wand.
Yeah.
It's played out as if Lucian holds all the cards. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Or Lucius. Lucius.
Yeah.
I always want to say Luscious, which is,
his locks,
Luscious Lucius, let's be real. He was a very handsome man.
Handsome man for that role. Yes.
Luscious Lucius. But like, she's the one who holds all the cards.
Yeah.
And you do see that. It's Harry is saved by a mother's love again at the end of this series.
Yeah.
And that is and it's done so well in both the book and the movie. Her bending down. And when I remember reading this when I was a kid, and it did come out when I was older, but still, like, I remember reading it and I had to read that a few times to fully understand what she meant.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't explain herself.
Yeah.
She walks up to him and says, "Is Draco alive? Is Draco in the castle? Is Draco alive?"
Yeah.
And when he nods yes, she stands up and says dead and confirms that he's dead. She does not explain her motives. She does not explain everything. And she could have let him die there because she still knows that Draco's alive.
Yeah.
But she made that choice because the moment that Voldemort put Draco at risk was the moment that he was written off her books.
Oh, yeah. This is one, the biggest
and that was the most dangerous thing he did.
This is the biggest FU she can ever do to him. And two, she can go straight into Hogwarts now because they think they're victorious.
Yes.
Like, it's such a good FU to Voldemort while still getting what she wants. I just wrote all capitals rereading this, just going, she lies to the Dark Lord. Like, she lies.
The Dark Lord who can read minds.
Like, either she's really skilled at occlumency too. If I said that right, I have no idea if I did.
Occlumency, yeah. I think it's a combination. I think you're right. I think it's part of occlumency, but it's also, I think it's a little bit in his faults because he is so confident in himself that he doesn't see, he does that time and time again.
Yeah.
He does it with Creature
and
many other times. But I think it's a combination of her confidence, her occlumency, and his just big head.
Yeah.
That all the fates align. Yeah. And you kind of love that for her and I didn't mind how they did it in the movies versus the books. I think it worked out perfect in both ways.
Yeah.
In the movies, you see her take Draco and run. Like her and like Lucius is like trailing behind and she's just like she's like kind of like, fuck you, like you did this.
Right? Like, I'm gonna take my son and leave. If you're coming, great.
The saving him. But in the books, like, I love that thought of you see them running through a battle.
Yeah.
Like Voldemort and Bellatrix are still going for it.
Yeah.
And they are avoiding the battle at all costs, looking for their son. And then at the end, you see them awkwardly sitting together.
Not knowing what to do, but like...
Not knowing what to do. Yeah. Not knowing if they belong.
Yeah.
But they're the family unit. And that's what she wants. And I do love that for her that she does get Draco in the end.
Yeah.
And that she makes that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof, the biggest mistake he made was asking Narcissa to check Harry.
Yeah. I think that's... Yeah. Out of all the people to ask, why wouldn't you ask Bellatrix? Like, why would you ask Narcissa? It's just so perfect. It's so perfect.
Yeah, her going up and doing that.
And this is like a tangent, but still in the books is, I love that she has albino peacocks. It's a very specific thing for the estate. Like, it's that purity.
Very full of themselves.
It's
very
that pretentiousness that they have albino peacocks roaming the estate. And how pissed. You get little ideas that she is just absolutely pissed that they are at her house. Like, that they are in her space. And she doesn't not like to be invading her
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting, too, that she's been pushed to the limit about, like, the world she has created and not wanting to be a part of the Death Eaters. And now they're invading her family. There's a person hanging above her dining room table, and she tries to make sure Draco, like, keeps calm about it because he knew that teacher. Like, it's... She has to keep so much together and averts gazing at Voldemort, which I think is, like...
And she doesn't even look at her husband.
Yeah.
She looks at no one.
Yeah. That she has to keep it together so much just to survive. Like, her survival instincts are amazing.
That's the Slytherin in her, man.
Yeah.
She is so
she
strong.
She knows how to get through it, and she plays a long game to get Draco back. And
I love her.
Yeah.
And she's very, very underrated.
Yeah.
And she's not in almost any of the movies. She's only in 3 of them. But it does make sense. She's not in
you gotta cut something.
The books either, but yeah, she is very, very cool.
Yeah.
And to wrap up our final relative of the Black family, we have Tonks.
Yes.
Formerly named Andromeda. Or not
Nymphadora.
Sorry, what am I saying? That's her mom. Nymphadora Tonks. There's a Hufflepuff. And we don't meet her until book 5. She has sparked lots and lots of debate and headcanons, but she's so fun.
Yeah.
And I love her, and I am sad of what she could have been.
Yeah. I get very frustrated.
Because she starts so strong. Yeah, you meet her book 5. She has bright violet hair. Yeah. She's like rolling her eyes at like the scariest aura in the room.
Yeah, and I love that relationship. Her and Moody's relationship is great.
He trained her.
Yeah, it was his protege. And you do see in the books, she's the one who questions Moody when of anyone. And she's taken seriously.
She keeps him on track.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's taken seriously when she brings up stuff, and she's like the young one of the group. She's very spunky. She's so clumsy. Yeah. Her clumsiness.
She did not get into and self-aware about her clumsiness. Yeah. Like so self-aware about her clumsiness. And like she gets into the oars not based on aptitude.
No.
Like it's like she states she's not dumb.
No.
But like she states, she's like, metamorphagus? Metamorphagus?
Yeah.
Metamorphagus?
Yeah.
Like that's how she got in.
Yeah.
Which she plays with a ton in the books and the movie, which is so fun to see.
Yeah.
And it's like this big, bright light in this moment of introducing. Too. Yeah. No, it's super nice to have her. And she's great. You see all sorts of fun things with her. And we mentioned things about her talking about her mother and such. Something that I wanted to say right away is she hates the name Nymphadora.
Yeah.
And now something that especially, at the time, when it was written, things were not as well thought out. And I'm sure at the time it was like, ooh, this would be like a funny quirk we'll give her.
Yeah.
But now in this day and age, this feels very much like dead naming. Dead naming is disrespectful at best and is harmful at worst. So in this day and age, that is frustrating that people keep essentially dead naming her. She has said multiple times and is very adamant about it and gets very frustrated. So why aren't you respecting her enough to just call her Tonks?
Yeah.
I do not like that when Dumbledore calls her Nymphadora that she's like, oh yeah, it's fine. That rubbed me the wrong way. Like some people call her Dora, which is fine.
I like Dora. Like, that's a fun nickname.
That works. And it's a nickname that works for her. But I don't like the dead naming. It seems just not needed. And that I think just didn't age well.
I think it was put in as more of like just a funny like quirk that
like a fun quirk
where she gets to be like, no, my name's Tom. Like I think it's supposed to be like a bit, but now
and it just did not.
Yeah, now it
did not age well.
You see it and go, no, she's asking you to call her Tonks. Call her Tonks.
This is disrespectful. Can you stop? Yeah.
And you do get the sense like it's her separating herself from the Black tradition. Nymphadora feels so much like a name of the Black household. Yeah. Yeah.
Her dad's name is in Ted, that lineage.
You know?
He's so bland in the best way.
Yeah. Like it's I feel like Tonks grabs her to her dad's lineage, not her mom's. And I feel
they're both They're both Hufflepuffs.
Yeah.
I love that for her. There's lots of things for her going off of that den naming. There's lots of things where she is trans in lots of headcanons. The biggest headcanon is, where was our lovely lesbian Tonks that we all knew she was? Where is that Tonks? Where is she?
She could, there's what's so interesting about her ability is that she can transform, and like the indications of that just feel like she could be gender fluid. She could, like, it just feels like it could be so cool.
Many opportunities.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, marry the werewolf. Oh crap.
Yeah. But it felt
crap. I just read Wolfstar. No, people think she's a lesbian. Let's put them together. That'll work.
Yeah. That's one of the most frustrating things to me about Tonks arc, and we've talked about this before podcast.
Yes.
Like that she's this bright light, she's this really great character, and then in book 6 she becomes depressed, and it felt so forced to make her fall in love with Lupin. Everyone thought Lupin was not straight. Everyone reading the books.
The director and
did,
the actor
did.
In the third movie, we're all like, oh yeah, this reads.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super frustrating. And it does feel forced, because in book 6, you think as she is, I know we've talked a lot about her. We've covered almost everything from book 5.
Yeah.
Just chatting and then talking about the other things in the duel and everything.
Yeah.
Something we didn't mention though, real quick before we keep going, is her relationship with Jenny. I think is amazing.
Yeah, I love her relationship with Jenny.
I think they are. I think they are, like, Jenny looks at her as like the sister she could have had.
Yeah. I love that she teaches her about like how to test for charms. I love that she entertains her and Hermione. I like that she hugs Hermione and Jenny very specifically when she helps escort them to the train.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool, like, older sister character for those two.
Who's silly. Like, Jenny doesn't get, she's only been around ridiculous boys.
Yeah.
She hasn't been around silly outgoing girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what she's like.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see.
I really like that
Tonks
relationship.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cool. I love that for both of them.
Yeah.
But like you said, going into book 6, it doesn't make sense, because at the beginning you're like, oh my gosh, she is devastated over Sirius.
Yeah.
She's devastated. She thinks it's her fault because she fell to Bellatrix, and then Bellatrix immediately killed him after that.
Yeah.
So she is feeling so terrible, and you feel bad for her. She can't be that upset, which is the first indicator that it's not serious.
Yeah.
Because she can still make a Patronus.
Yeah, she can still make a Patronus. She can think happy thoughts.
It will note that George cannot make a Patronus.
Oh.
It is said that he cannot make one after Fred
That makes
died.
sense, yeah.
So for her to still be able to make one right after, while she's still this sad, leads me to believe that it was never about Sirius. Well, that this drama moment was always about Lupin and wanting him to just love her because she loves him. Well, it just feels weird.
Her whole role in 6, it's written well to like kind of try and lead you this way and know something else is up. So it's written,
and then there's the twist.
Yeah, it's written in a like actually quite well of how it's revealed in things, and how you get the messy the brown hair, and you see the spark gone and things like that.
She's letting herself go.
But the reason why it feels even more forced is because after they get together, and I'm jumping a little bit, but like to finish up like this thought.
No, you're fine.
After they get together,
please.
She's described as super happy, and Lupin is described as always miserable. So if you're gonna force them together, make them happy together. Like, that's what I don't understand. Right? Like it's the difference between being miserable and being worried because you're a werewolf. Like, he was miserable every time you saw him. Yeah. So like that's what made it feel even like you had to know they didn't fit. Because you made him miserable.
She made Lupin a bad dad, which in normal circumstances, he would not be a bad dad. That's like, when I tell you the amount of fanfic of Wolfstar finding the baby and raising him, like, no. So I agree wholheartily. That makes no sense. Yeah. It was.
Her whole role in book 6 was this arc. And I just wonder if the author did not feel the need to force this heterosexual relationship,
what could have happened?
What could Tonks have been in book 6? She still could have been upset, but she could, like, I don't know. We missed the clumsiness.
Oh yes, be upset over Sirius, please.
But we missed the clumsiness. We missed the like light, the helpfulness to Harry. Because every time Harry saw her, she was miserable. Like it. Yeah. We didn't get Tonks in book 6.
No, it wasn't her at all. It was suddenly she can't even morph. Is how upset she is.
Yeah.
And Lupin, it does say that Lupin tries to turn her around. So is that this weird thing of like, okay, was she upset? And then Lupin was like also obviously upset because his best friend just died that he didn't realize was a good guy until very recently.
It's a lot of stuff to go through. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think they found solace in each other of like grieving together?
Mm-hmm.
And that was where the moment turned. And she was like, oh, yeah, I just want to be with you. And he's like, you don't understand the ramifications of being with me. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And it just, like you said, it feels very forced. I don't like that suddenly at the funeral, she's holding his hand and she's like bright pink hair. Like,
well, yeah, that's it. You don't see them coming together. You just see her at the beginning of book 6 upset. And you don't know why. You don't see her like...
And I get why they changed. There's a lot of things that she does in book 6 that they give to Luna. Like finding him on the train and things like that. Yeah. They give those moments to Luna in the movies. And I get it because it's weird in the books.
Yeah.
And
to have the big explosion at the end of the book, like in the middle of, like, I want to be like, don't take the moment from Bill and Fleur. Like, this is their moment. Now you're like, you're going to turn on Lupin and take the moment and yell at him about like, I love you and see that you can be in love. I'm like, this is not about you.
And it's just weird. It just was weird.
It's so weird.
It was so forced. It was so, oh no, Wolfstar stuff is being written. I better stop it.
Stuff that was coming out, and then she wrote this book, and I felt like a very specific response to all of that stuff.
Like the fandom as a whole is like, you did this because of this. Yeah. Which is why I keep repeating it. Cause it's like, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. Cause that's obviously whatever. Yeah. Book 7, I think it does totally check out that she would get pregnant. I don't know if the pregnancy was on purpose. I could totally read that as being like on accident.
Yeah.
Just enjoying their time while they can. Yeah. And then oops.
And a quiet wedding, wedded bliss. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get her coming to the battle. Yeah. Like, had a baby a couple minutes later and goes, you're leaving me behind? Yeah, right.
Sure you are. Yeah. Like, it felt really right that she was there. I do enjoy that we get to meet her parents in book 7, and that she ends up with her mom when she's pregnant, and being able to take care of her mom too because her dad dies in this book.
He runs. You see him
he has
running.
to run, because of the Snatchers, and so like he runs so they don't even get to spend his last time with him. Like that's
potentially Dean does.
Yeah.
Potentially Dean watches him die.
It's terrifying, and to think that you're not only pregnant, but like you're pregnant in the middle of a war with your dad on the run and your like a husband running off to help the order, but you can't,
and you don't know what your son's gonna be like.
It's a lot of terrifying
werewolf
things.
Says a lot about her that she, and not in a bad way,
no
she joins this battle. It is devastating when they both die. I also felt like that was very like, we just need to get rid of them. It was
and her family gets sad tortured about it.
But
her family gets tortured because they want to know where Harry is. So like her family goes through a lot in book 7, and she's in tears when Moody dies because her mentor dies in this book. She loses a lot of people and her life in this book. Like she loses her mentor, she loses her father.
Sucks.
Like this character had such a potential to be such a fun, bright light in this book as someone who is still manages to find
that
joy.
People could see themselves in. Yeah. She could have been so open.
Yeah.
And of course, the fandom has taken the kids and run and made her what we all want her to be. But it just sucks that her chapter was closed so abruptly in the books. Yeah. Because like you said, she could have only gone up from there. Yeah. Instead of being
it could have been
closed on book 6.
Yeah. I think her potential was squashed when she was forced into that arc. You get a little bit more of her brightness in book 7, even though Lupin is distressed. And you gotta believe that she's frustrated as heck to not be able to do anything while she's pregnant. Like, that's gotta be frustrating for her.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Doing puzzle. Like, what? Like, she's...
what does she do? Yeah. What does she do?
So, it's a frustrating character because we have so much potential to love her.
Yes.
And we do. But we love the version of her we kind of met in book 5.
Yes. Yes. We love book 5 Tonks. I think she's a very strong-willed character. She is a really great depiction of a very loyal and heart on her sleeve Hufflepuff. But doesn't make her any less weak. She has a lot of
very strong
quirks. She's a great character, and I love what the fandom has done with her because that is what we all want her to be. I think in the movies they did a great job of doing their best with what they were given.
Yeah.
The actors did a great job. We had quite the ladies to talk about today.
We did. They were all just fascinating in their own ways and very different and all powerful in very different ways, which is always fun to talk about because strong can be overused. So it's fun to talk about the different ways in which strong can be interpreted. There's a lot of resilience. I love the word resilience.
Yes.
All these women are very resilient in their own ways.
Yes.
So it's a fun thing to talk about the Longbottoms and the ancient and noble house of Black today.
So full of themselves.
Oh yes, and their albino peacocks just roaming about the manor.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a Malfoy manor.
Yep. I love it.
My goodness. Anyway.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys enjoyed and we can't just wait to see you for the next one.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Damsels in Dialogue. Tune in next week as we travel once again to the corridors of Hogwarts, but this time discuss its wonderful witchy teachers and a few magical occupants.
If you enjoyed listening today, we'd love to have you subscribe to this podcast and share with friends.
If you really enjoyed our discussion, you can find more behind-the-scenes content, a peek at our research notes, and even entire bonus episodes on Patreon. Each month, we release a full after-hours episode where we will discuss each movie adaptation and don't hold back.
You can reach us on social media. Links to all our platforms can be found in our About section. Until next time, this has been Damsels in Dialogue.
Have a nice day.
And fuck TERFs. This episode was sponsored by Z-Bomb Shop Creations. You can find them on Etsy and Instagram at Z-Bomb Shop Creations. Damsels in Dialogue is produced by Hello Out There Audio, part of Hello Out There Productions.